What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about DCNH subtypes, okay? Socionics. And I know what you guys thinking. Well, why would we want to do that? We don't like Model G. In fact, we hate Model G. Golenko's a joke, right? That's what you're thinking. You think he's a layman. You think he doesn't know what he's talking about. We on this channel use Model A. Why would we even bother about Model G, right? Well, what's the point? We're not LSIs. We are not LSIs. We're not all, close-minded to the idea of maybe there's something beneficial in another system. Maybe for fun. And when it comes to Model G, subtypes are quite interesting. They're quite helpful because they give different flavors to different types. They are like different variants and they give some variety. That's why they're quite nice. And another thing with those subtypes is that they're easy to type. You have a clear dichotomy, you know what to do. It's simple. So that part of Model G I like. One thing to remember that's really important, I don't want you guys to mess this up. Many people, even Model G people, they use subtypes as a cope. It's a coping mechanism, okay? Now, why a cope? Because they can give you the most outrageous typing that literally does not align with Model A in any way, shape, or form. It's kind of like saying someone's an EIE in one system and LSI in another system. It is possible if they cope using the subtypes. Oh, he's just an EIE dominant subtype. That's what he's basically an LSI. It's a cope. So don't ever think subtypes are a cope or they completely change how you manifest as a type. Not at all. It gives you a flavor. It makes you look a bit different from the other people of the type. But the core is the most important. You still fit the foundation of the type, so don't be acting all weird about that, okay? And that's all you need to know. So we have dominant, which is described as being the one that's most like the original description. Now, there is some inconsistencies with this claim. In some types I see why, and in some types I don't see why at all. So take this shit with grain of salt. Creative subtype, which is thought of as the most different from the original description. Again, take this with grain of salt. Doesn't mean it's going to be extremely different, but it will give a different attitude to the type. And then we have normalizing and harmonizing. Harmonizing shouldn't even exist, in my opinion, because seeing some of the different types who are harmonizing, in my opinion, sometimes I feel like they don't exist. But it's no problem. We're geeks. We love NE. I realized that I don't like NE. I really don't like NE. I think it's a goofy element, and you shouldn't be proud of valuing NE. You shouldn't. It's not funny, Maybe if you like to be a geek and you like to be a goofball, yeah. And nowadays in typology, there is this pushback. People who are considered strict, right? And people who are considered open-minded. Well, who's to say? I mean, some open-minded geek, open-minded, is going to tell you how you're restricting everything. Yeah, you're restricting things within reason, because it makes sense. It's better than going around circle jerking everything as if everything's possible. No, not everything is possible. We don't want it to be possible. So stop the cosplay. We don't want it. Stop the any geeking, okay? I view it as virtue signaling. Oh, I'm so open-minded. We should consider more. Yeah, okay, cool. You're not funny. You're woke. You are woke. You're the woke You're the woke army in typology. This is what we need to introduce to typology. Woke. And by woke, I mean virtue signaling. And simple as that. Every subtype accentuates a certain function. This does not mean, just because let's say your creative function is accentuated, this does not mean that your creative is stronger or stronger than your base. No. It doesn't change the placements. It's still the same way it is. Think of it as a spectrum. It's just stronger than the average person of your type in that specific function. That's all. Now, with dominant, we have TE, FE, and SE all boosted. Again, right? This is the Chadwick subtype. Now, imagine what happens when you make an introverted type with a dominant subtype. It's a Chadwick. So, beware of the ILID. Yeah, okay. Then we have creative, as the kind of name says, NE, SE, FE. So, the irony is that I do have boosted NE. Yeah, that's the irony. I do have boosted NE. But listen, yeah, I have enough NE, yeah, which is better than having too much NE. So I'll take that. Then we have normalizing, which is TI, FI, and SI. Again, the rigid type, rigid subtype, right? Introverted. and harmonizing ni, si, and fi. So all of those functions are accentuated. That's what gives us the different flavors. You can be the same type, but you can have different accentuated elements. Makes you look different. Cool, right? Anyway, proceeding to the next. Now, the reason why it's so cool, why DCNH is kind of cool, is because there are clear dichotomies to typing. It's not, I might read a vague description, and if I relate to it, hopefully, I can type myself as X, Y, and Z. No. You have a clear dichotomy to type, and it will take you 2 minutes to type yourself or to type other people based on this dichotomy. First dichotomy is contacting and distancing. Pretty simple, right? Contacting types have a need for contact, initiating contact, and distancing have the need for distance, creating distance, withdrawing. So the way this works is this is why I understood. Contacting types kind of are like extroverted introverts or extroverted extroverts. It's like boosted extroversion in a sense, right? It's kind of like this introverted extroverted scale. And with distancing, it's kind of like very clearly manifested introverts or introverted extroverts. So that's the differences. Pretty simple, easy peasy, right? Maybe you feel like you're kind of an introverted extrovert. You know, you are extroverted cognitively, but you kind of act like a loner. No one likes you, right? You're a party pooper. So what do? You type yourself as distancing. Pretty sweet. Then we have second dichotomy, which is terminating and initiating. Now, the term terminating is basically focus on finishing tasks, being more ordered, and being more regulated. To me, the way I view this is kind of like a person who's more ordered, more regulated, more rational in a sense, right? So, more conscientious individual. Simple as, that's it. Initiating would be someone who's more likely to move on to different things, try different things, create chaos and disorder in their affairs and life. So this is a more spontaneous, this is more adaptable, not as regulated individual. Pretty simple. And this is kind of like, I guess, rational and irrational dichotomy, almost kind of like that. So again, are you a tryhard? Do you have no life? Okay, you type yourself as that. And third dichotomy, on the 3, is connecting and ignoring. Now with connecting, those connecting types are quite sensitive to changes in their environment. What is changed in their environment? They pay attention to that. Ignoring types, as the name says, the ignorers don't really care. They're in their own thing, doing their own thing. They don't really care at all, okay? Maybe there's an apocalypse, right? Maybe there's a tsunami, maybe there's an earthquake. You can have a safe bet that an ignoring person is just going to sit there and be like, I like this tea. It tastes good. But don't take this shit literally, obviously, right? But you get the point. It's pretty simple. So 3 dichotomies, it will take you literally 1 minute to type yourself. For dominant, Big Daddy Dom, right, Chadwick, it would be contacting, terminating, and connecting. It makes sense. Again, more extroverted, more focused on the external world, terminating, tryhards, right? This is the individual that you probably, if you are a woman, you probably read some fanfic novels or some, I don't know what you guys do there, but I know you're weird. So maybe you're reading some weird shit, okay? And in this novel, there is this Dom guy, Big Daddy Dom. It's the typical story of a silent badass who has a whip, and then he's kind of regulated, he's very ordered, he gives you the rules, he's super disciplined, and he has very bad emotional world. He's very unavailable emotionally. It's a typical story, and that's exactly that. Dominant subtype, easy peasy. With creative, it would be contacting, initiating, and ignoring. It's a more chaotic, it's more disorganized, more impulsive, more creative subtype that kind of wants to try new things. Makes sense. Normalizing subtype is going to be distancing, terminating, and ignoring. And harmonizing is going to be distancing, initiating, and connecting. So pretty simple. Now, this is the kind of initial breakdown of DCNH. That's all you need to do. With all of that, you can easily type yourself right now. What I want to do for the next video in regards of those sociotypes is introduce variants of a sociotype, like an SLE D, SLE C, right? And kind of show you different variants of a type and explain how they will manifest. That's going to be the next idea I'm going to have in regards of DCNH subtypes. So stay tuned. And that's it for today.